There's a silent contradiction that dwells in the hearts of millions. The more they visualize their dream life, the more distant that life seems to become. It's as if each mental image crafted with such care transforms into an invisible wall between you and what you most desire. You close your eyes, construct perfect scenarios in your mind, feel the emotions of fulfillment. But when you open your eyes, the same old reality remains there, unchanged, almost mocking your efforts. The truth is, you're not failing at visualization. You're trapped in a quantum paradox, where the very attempt to mentally create your new reality is energetically reinforcing the old one. Each visualization session may be becoming an unconscious confirmation that what you desire doesn't exist in your current life. Perhaps you feel a deep frustration realizing that despite all the vision boards, guided meditations, and daily affirmations, the life you can feel so clearly in imagination remains just that, imagination. This sensation of always being almost there, but never actually arriving, can generate a spiritual exhaustion that few understand. You're not alone in this experience of watching your mind create entire worlds that never seem to materialize in physical reality. The pain of visualizing abundance while living scarcity, imagining love while experiencing loneliness, dreaming of health while dealing with physical limitations. This internal contradiction can become a silent weight that erodes the very faith in the manifestation process. Joe Dispenza, through his pioneering research in quantum neuroscience, revealed that if you're visualizing from the same emotional state, you're literally reinforcing the same neural reality you want to transform. His discoveries show that visualization without internal frequency change is like trying to tune into a new radio station without changing the dial. You keep hearing the same music. Neville Goddard complements this understanding by teaching that we must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not just the image. The difference between imagining and manifesting lies in the vibrational quality of the observer creating the experience, not in the clarity or intensity of mental images. When you visualize compulsively, you're unconsciously transmitting to the quantum field that you don't possess what you desire. Each session becomes an energetic affirmation of separation between you and your ideal reality. It's like constantly looking at a photo of a place you'd like to be, instead of simply packing your bags and traveling there. The linear mind interprets the constant need to visualize as evidence of lack. The more you need to imagine something, the more your psyche registers that it's not real in your present experience. You create a cycle where the very practice that should bring you closer to manifestation is actually keeping you energetically distant from it. Your current vibrational frequency functions like a radio station, broadcasting 24 hours a day. If you're visualizing abundance but your emotional frequency is tuned to scarcity, you're sending contradictory signals to the field of possibilities. It's like trying to play two different songs simultaneously. The result is just interference and noise. The quantum field doesn't respond to your mental images. It responds to your vibrational signature. When there's misalignment between what you consciously visualize and what you emit frequentially, you're creating energetic static instead of clear manifestation. Your brain can't distinguish between an intensely lived experience and an experience imagined with emotional depth. Both create the same neural networks, But there's a crucial difference: the quality of frequency that accompanies the mental experience. When you visualize from the frequency of need, your nervous system registers the experience as something I want but don't have. When you visualize from the frequency of fulfillment, your brain processes it as something I am and possess. Neuroplasticity works in your favor only when the mental image is aligned with the emotional frequency corresponding to already manifested reality. True mastery isn't about visualizing more or better. It's about first calibrating your internal frequency and then allowing visualizations to be natural confirmations of this new tuning, not desperate attempts to create it. There's an invisible frequency operating behind the scenes of your consciousness, like a computer program silently running in the background that systematically contradicts everything you consciously desire to manifest. This phantom frequency is composed of layers of subconscious beliefs, unprocessed emotional memories, and energetic patterns you inherited without questioning. While your conscious mind constructs visualizations of abundance, your phantom frequency may be transmitting, "I don't deserve this," or "people like me can't have this life." It's like trying to drive a car with the parking brake engaged. You can accelerate all you want, but the invisible resistance prevents you from reaching your destination. Your consciousness operates like a sophisticated radio that picks up multiple stations simultaneously. While you focus on the main station, your conscious desires and visualizations, there's a constant background noise you don't even notice anymore. This noise is composed of all the limiting beliefs, ancestral fears, and inadequacy patterns you've absorbed throughout life. This background noise has become so familiar, it's become invisible, like the sound of air conditioning you only notice when it stops working. But it's precisely this invisible frequency that determines which reality you manifest, because it's active 24 hours a day, while your conscious visualizations last only a few minutes. To transform your reality, you first need to silence this background noise and then consciously tune into the clean frequency of the life you want to experience. Your body carries emotional memories from all past experiences, creating a cellular library that may be completely misaligned with your mental intentions. While your mind visualizes success and fulfillment, your cells may be vibrating with memories of failure, rejection, or unresolved trauma. This discrepancy between mental intention and cellular memory creates an internal conflict that the quantum field interprets as energetic indecision. It's like trying to vote for two different candidates in the same election. The result is the nullification of your manifestational vote. Genuine transformation happens when you can align mental clarity with cellular frequency, creating coherence between all levels of your being. When mind and body finally agree on who you are and what you deserve, internal resistance dissolves, and the natural flow of manifestation establishes itself. You're quantumly entangled with all versions of yourself, including the one living exactly the reality you want to leave behind. This entanglement functions like an invisible energetic cable that pulls you back to familiar patterns every time you try to move toward the new. The more you fight against this connection, the stronger it becomes. It's like trying to escape quicksand. Desperate resistance only makes you sink deeper. Liberation comes through conscious neutralization of this entanglement, not war against it. When you stop resisting the old version of yourself and simply choose to consistently energize the new one, the entanglement dissolves naturally, like a rope that loosens when you stop pulling it. Recalibration of your internal signal happens when you consciously synchronize all aspects of your being: thoughts, emotions, bodily sensations, and spiritual intention into a single coherent frequency. It's like tuning an orchestra where each instrument needs to play in the same key to create harmony. This synchronization creates a signal so clear and powerful that the quantum field has no choice but to respond instantly. It's not about force or intensity of will, it's about purity and coherence of the signal you're transmitting to the universe. When all levels of your being are finally aligned, manifestation stops being a Herculean effort and becomes a natural flow, like a river finding its way to the ocean without resistance. Reality doesn't change gradually, as we've been taught. It collapses instantly when the observer changes. Linear time is an illusion you keep active through the belief that profound transformations need months or years to happen. In truth, your new reality already exists in this moment, waiting only for you to stop collapsing the old version through your habitual attention. The conscious collapse of the old reality is like changing channels on television. You don't need to wait for the previous program to end to start watching something completely different. You simply change the channel of your consciousness, and a totally new reality appears instantly on the screen of your experience. Sequential time is a construct of the linear mind that keeps you imprisoned in the belief that you need to arrive at your new reality through a gradual process. But in the quantum field, all realities exist simultaneously in an eternal now. Your ideal life isn't waiting in the future. It's happening now in a parallel frequency. When you understand that you don't need to create your new reality, just access it, the entire manifestation process transforms radically. You stop trying to build something that doesn't exist and start tuning into something that's already complete and functioning perfectly. The shift in perspective from "someday I'll get there" to "I'm already here" is what provokes the instant collapse of the old reality and the immediate emergence of the new. Your consciousness functions as a quantum projector that collapses infinite possibilities into specific experiences through the act of observation. Each moment you're choosing, consciously or unconsciously, which version of reality will become your dominant experience. The quantum observer isn't a passive spectator. They're the active creator of experience through the quality of their attention. When you observe from the frequency of limitation, you automatically collapse limited realities. When you observe from the frequency of abundance, you naturally collapse abundant realities. Quantum mastery lies in becoming fully conscious of your role as observer and deliberately choosing which reality to collapse each moment, instead of letting unconscious patterns make this choice for you. There's a critical moment in transformation where two versions of you coexist simultaneously. the old one that's dissolving and the new one that's solidifying. This transition period can generate confusion and energetic instability because you're no longer who you were, but you're not yet completely who you're becoming. During this delicate phase, it's crucial to maintain coherence with the new identity, even when external reality still reflects aspects of the old version. It's like being in an elevator between floors. You're no longer on the bottom floor, but you haven't completely arrived at the top one yet. The natural temptation is to return to the familiar and comfortable identity, but quantum courage lies in remaining in the sacred space of transformation until the new version completely stabilizes in your experience. Anchoring your consciousness in the new timeline is like programming a quantum GPS for a completely new destination. You need to input the correct vibrational coordinates and then follow the energetic instructions without questioning the process. Anchoring happens through consistent repetition of the new frequency until it becomes your natural operating frequency. Each time you choose to think, feel, and act from the new identity, you're strengthening the anchor cables. Each time you return to old patterns out of habit or fear, you're weakening the connection to the new temporal line. Anchoring is complete when operating from the new reality becomes more natural and automatic than trying to return to the old one. At this point, transformation becomes irreversible and the new reality stabilizes permanently. Manifestation isn't about attracting things from outside into your life. It's about reorganizing the information field you already inhabit. Nothing comes from outside. Everything emerges from within through the reconfiguration of the invisible geometry that organizes your experience. You're not a desperate magnet trying to pull distant realities. You're a quantum transmitter, radiating the frequency of the reality you want to experience. When you understand this fundamental difference, you stop trying to force external changes through mental effort and start radiating internal changes through vibrational alignment. Manifestation transforms from struggle to flow, from effort to naturalness. You possess a personal morphogenetic field, an invisible information matrix that organizes how reality manifests around you. This field functions as an energetic mold that determines what types of experiences can form in your life and which remain impossible. When you change the geometry of this field through transformation of your dominant frequency, you automatically attract experiences that correspond to the new configuration. It's like changing a cake mold. You automatically get a different shape, even using the same basic ingredients of life. Conscious manifestation is the art of intentionally redesigning the geometry of your personal morphogenetic field, creating new patterns of possibility that were previously unimaginable. The difference between radiation and attraction is fundamental to understanding how manifestation really operates at the quantum level. When you try to attract, you're starting from the premise that you don't possess what you desire and need to pull it from somewhere distant. When you radiate, you're operating from the certainty that you already are what you want to experience. Radiation is like being a radio station transmitting a specific frequency. You're not desperately trying to pull listeners. You're simply transmitting your music, and those tuned to the same frequency naturally pick up your signal. When you radiate the frequency of desired reality consistently, corresponding experiences appear naturally in your life as an inevitable consequence of your transmission, not as a result of your effort or worthiness. Your heart possesses an electromagnetic field 60 times more powerful than the brains and functions as the main programmer of the quantum field around you. When your heart is in coherence, when you genuinely feel the emotions of desired reality, it programs the field of possibilities to reflect this emotional frequency. Heart coherence isn't about forced positive thinking. It's about authentic emotional alignment with the reality you want to live. When your heart truly feels that you're already abundant, healthy, or loved, it transmits this information to the quantum field with a potency the brain alone could never achieve. The most powerful and lasting manifestation happens when heart and mind are in perfect coherence, transmitting exactly the same frequency to the universe. When your personal frequency aligns perfectly with universal flow, synchronicity stops being rare coincidence and becomes your new normal. Right people appear at the exact moment, opportunities open effortlessly, and life flows with an ease that seems almost magical to external observers. This isn't luck, divine favor, or special privilege. It's the natural result of being in perfect tune with the frequency of the reality you've chosen to live. It's like surfing a perfect wave. When you're completely aligned, the very force of the wave carries you forward without any effort on your part. Synchronicity on demand is the unmistakable sign that you've mastered the art of radiating the correct frequency, and that the universe is responding to your transmission with mathematical precision. Did you feel this fundamental shift in perspective when we talked about radiating instead of attracting? This deep understanding that you already possess the morphogenetic field to create any reality. Then, before we advance to the final test of the new identity, leave in the comments one word that represents the frequency you're choosing to radiate from now on. Your declaration is the first signal of your new quantum transmission. The resistance you encounter when you're about to make a significant change isn't evidence that you're doing something wrong. It's the quantum field's final test to verify if you've truly embodied the new frequency. Each obstacle that arises is a cosmic opportunity to demonstrate that your new identity is stronger than temporary circumstances. When you understand that resistance is confirmation, not contradiction, each challenge becomes a chance to consolidate your new reality instead of doubting it. It's like the immune system that reacts when it detects something new in the organism. Resistance isn't a sign to give up. It's a sign that you're disturbing old patterns and creating space for the new. Resistance appears precisely when you're about to make a significant quantum leap, like the pressure that builds before a volcanic eruption. This resistance isn't a cosmic sign to retreat. It's evidence that a powerful force is about to emerge from your consciousness. The greater the transformation you're provoking, the greater the initial resistance you may encounter. It's the natural law of inertia applied to consciousness. Everything in motion tends to stay in motion, and everything at rest tends to stay at rest, until a conscious force changes this dynamic, When you stop interpreting obstacles as signs of failure and start seeing them as confirmation of progress, your relationship with challenges transforms completely. Each resistance becomes fuel for your determination, not reason for your surrender. Your old identity won't disappear silently. It will fight for survival with all the psychological weapons it possesses. These final attacks may come in the form of intense doubts, irrational fears, or situations that seem to confirm your old limitations. It's like a computer virus that tries to corrupt the system when it detects it's being removed. The old identity will try to convince you that change is dangerous, impossible, or unnecessary, using all memories of past failures as evidence. Neutralization happens when you recognize these attacks for what they really are, desperate attempts by a dying pattern, and choose to maintain coherence with your new frequency, regardless of what your old mind is screaming. Frequency consistency is the quantum discipline of maintaining your new vibration, regardless of external circumstances or internal emotional storms. It's like maintaining a pure musical note, even when there's noise around. It requires conscious practice, but it's what differentiates an amateur manifester from a quantum master. Each time you choose to maintain your new frequency in the face of a challenge, you're sealing this frequency deeper into the structure of your reality. Each time you return to old patterns because of external pressure, you're weakening the anchoring of the new identity. Frequency consistency is what transforms a temporary transformation experience into a permanent new normal. It's the difference between a change that lasts weeks and a change that lasts forever. There's a sacred moment in transformation where going back stops being a viable option, not because you can't, but because it simply no longer makes energetic sense. It's like trying to go back to wearing children's clothes when you've already grown up. Technically possible, but completely inadequate for who you've become. This moment of irreversibility is when your new identity becomes more real to you than the old one. You no longer need to fight to maintain the new frequency. It has become your natural operating frequency. When you reach this point of no return, transformation is complete and manifestation becomes automatic. You no longer need to try to be different. You simply are different, and the universe responds to this new reality with mathematical precision. Quantum change isn't a process that takes years of hard work. It happens in an instant of total vibrational alignment. The rest is just integration, like allowing a new song to spread through the entire sound system until every speaker is playing the same melody in perfect harmony. When you stop negotiating with limitation and completely assume the identity of the person who already lives the desired reality, transformation becomes irreversible and manifestation becomes your new automatic normal. There's a sacred moment where you stop trying to become someone different and simply start being that person. It's the difference between acting a role on life's stage and living a completely authentic identity. When this fundamental change happens, all effort ceases and the natural flow of conscious creation begins. This quantum decision isn't made with the rational mind. It emerges from a deep cellular recognition of who you always were beneath the layers of conditioning. It's like waking up from a confusing dream and realizing you were always the person you were desperately trying to become. From this moment of recognition, living the new reality becomes more natural and automatic than trying to maintain the old one. After the quantum decision, your physical body needs to learn to operate in the new vibrational frequency. This may generate strange sensations, sudden energy changes, or even temporary physical symptoms while your cells recalibrate to sustain the new identity. It's like a musician who needs to train their fingers to play a new composition. At first, it may feel uncomfortable or unnatural, but with conscious repetition, it becomes fluid and automatic. Your body is literally learning to live in a higher frequency. Integration is complete when your new frequency becomes so natural that you can't even remember what it was like to live in the old frequency. Transformation becomes irreversible at the cellular level. When you truly embody the new frequency at all levels of your being, negotiating with limitation becomes energetically impossible. It's like trying to convince someone who knows how to swim to be afraid of water. It simply doesn't make sense to someone who has completely mastered the skill. You stop considering the possibility of returning to the old reality because it stops being a viable option in your consciousness. It's not willpower that keeps you in the new frequency. It's the natural impossibility of operating in a frequency that no longer corresponds to your fundamental identity. The end of negotiation marks the beginning of your new normal, where manifestation happens effortlessly because you simply are what you once tried to become. Your new normal is living as the conscious observer who collapses desired reality through the pure quality of your attention. You no longer need to struggle to manifest. You simply observe from the frequency of the reality you want to experience, and it manifests naturally as an inevitable consequence of your new identity. This isn't a special state you need to achieve through complex techniques. It's your natural condition when you stop interfering with the organic process of conscious creation. You become a fluid collaborator with the quantum field, co-creating realities through the purity of your vibrational frequency. Your life becomes a living demonstration that consciousness is truly the fundamental creative force of the universe. Each day is a new opportunity to choose which reality to collapse through the quality of your observation, and each choice confirms your mastery as a conscious creator of your own experience. If this video activated something deep in your consciousness and you felt the recognition of your own capacity to master quantum frequency, subscribe to the channel to continue receiving manifestation codes that accelerate your transformation. Leave in the comments which new frequency you're choosing to radiate permanently from now on, and share this video with someone who needs to discover their power as a quantum observer. Your conscious transformation inspires others to remember their own capacity to collapse realities through frequency mastery.